Guys, we just got back from our cruise in the Bahamas, and the Navigator of the Seas is a dope ship. I know I'll get into the whole why you clicked this video in the first place, how to get an Osmo Action for 44 bucks, but I figured before just jumping right in, you're gonna need some context of how this camera cost $44. Now, the story starts with our two friends, Jacqueline and Bruce. You're gonna see them in the vlogs that are coming out, but I wanted to find a way to get them some cameras because we thought having 2 additional point of view cameras would help make some awesome content for you guys. But obviously, when it comes to creating content, buying camera gear is not cheap, like at all. So getting an additional camera for Jacqueline and getting an additional camera for Bruce, and I also wanted to get Alyssa an Osmo Pocket so she can try to test it out for her vlogs. That's a 3rd camera. That brings our total cost to almost $1,000 for cameras, which of course isn't in our budget at all, like at all. So obviously when you're a creator, it starts to come down to the little things, and you start being that person who looks up as many resources or looks up for as many solutions as possible. You start seeing if the camera is 4K, can you get it cheaper elsewhere, can it go underwater, how far can it go underwater, is it durable, how long does the battery last. I'm serious, I'm pretty sure you've researched cameras before you've purchased them before. So this is the reason why when people ask me, hey Griff, what camera should I get? It's why I start to ask them a couple of questions, because at the end of the day, it's going to depend. It's going to depend on you, what you like, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, what's in your budget, how long you're going on a trip, how often you're going to go on trips. Giving an exact answer of one specific camera can be a bit challenging. Now, while I do have a certain amount of recommendations, I'm just saying you can always buy used, or you could just rent it. So for example, when I first started creating, I wanted to be something like Casey Neistat. Quick edits, quick jumps, cool music, really fast paced, 7-minute vlogs. But as I started creating more content, I started liking stuff like Peter McKinnon. Naturally, he's a huge influencer, slow-mos, stuff like that. And then eventually my style started, evolving into more like a Kane and Pia editing style. And I think that's what's gonna happen to a lot of people in the creative space. You start finding what you like, despite what's being done in the industry. You kind of just mix everything together and you end up creating your own style. So with that being said, having one camera like I did, 70D, I started using several different options. I ended up getting an 80D. We ended up purchasing a Canon M50, and next GoPros. And it starts to get a little pricey because you really don't know what you want. And obviously returning that gear, you end up paying a restocking fee from some of these major companies like Best Buy. So let's say you buy a camera that costs 1,500 bucks, returning it, they charge you a restocking fee. It could be upwards of 200 bucks. At that point, you're just like, I feel like I wasted 200 bucks and I'll just keep the camera. Number 2 is you're not going to be creating as much content as you think. Now, sure, you do have a vacation or a cruise or 2 maybe in the future that you have lined up. But when it comes down to it, once you get all that content and you come back, unless you're cruising like 6 to 8 times or doing a lot of travel or doing a lot of content creation, it's gonna come down to that camera sitting down in a corner and just collecting dust over time. You have to keep in mind when you get back, you'll have to edit that content that you took. You're gonna have to work. You're going to have to do chores. You're going to have to take care of your family. These things are going to start taking priority. And before you know it, by the time the cruise gets here, another one, it's already been a year before your next cruise. And you've had this camera and then a new one has come out to replace it. And then repeat the cycle of you doing research of, does it do 4K? Does it do slow-mo? How far can it go underwater? And then you end up selling this thing, and it's just, you see where I'm going with this? And which brings me to my next point is number 3. Some cameras just need to be tested. Because there's so many updates and so many new cameras being pumped out every year, almost every other month I feel like, you should probably test it before you go ahead and invest such a large sum of money into these things. That's just my personal opinion. And no, I'm not talking about going to Best Buy, walking in and asking the rep for a couple of specs and then playing with, the GoPro or the Osmo Actions attached to a wire. I'm really talking about going out into the field on your vacation, testing this thing out, playing with it for a little bit, really putting it through its paces returning it, and then making a decision if you want to purchase in the future. Which brings me to the sponsor of this video, Crisp. Now, I have rented from Crisp before, and I would highly recommend you guys looking into their services. And here's the reasons why. They have several products to choose from. They have GoPros, they have drones, they have Osmo Actions, they have Osmo Pockets, they have accessories. These things can really get you to start creating in the space, whatever you're in. It doesn't just have to be cruising, really immediately for a very, very affordable price. I said this earlier, and yes, it's in the title. You can get an Osmo Action for just $44, which is impressive. Instead of buying a drone for $1,500, you could just rent it for 98 bucks, fly the drone around for a little bit, decide if this is something you're really going to be invested in on your vacations moving forward and with content creation, then you can return it. But it actually gets even better. To help you with your content creation needs, they're going to send you a memory stick reader. They'll also give you guys a mount around the Osmo Action or the GoPro, whichever one you rent. It's really, really incredible, and I love that everything is just connected to really help you get out there and go start creating. So whether you're going on a cruise soon, or you're going on a vacation and you want to get more cameras for your family to kind of see everyone's point of view, or maybe you're just looking to start creating for the first time, you don't know which camera to do, or maybe you're an experienced creator and money is pretty much, budgeted properly, and you want to test your products before you fully go all in, I would highly recommend Crisp. They've done an excellent job for us. Ooh, or maybe you want to do like this epic camera wars, like GoPro versus the Osmo Action versus the Osmo Pocket. There's tons of options with Crisp, but you can totally do that. Or maybe you're just like me and you're super chill and you want to just fly the drone around the beach and have a good time. And you know what? I think I'm going to end this video because I want to go fly the drone now. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you dig the vibes, please subscribe. And if you found this video helpful and you want to check out Crisp, click the link. It's going to be in the description box below. Happy renting. Have a good time. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.